My mom stopped talking days before she passed. I finally understand why. Have you ever sat by the bedside of someone you love, maybe a parent, a spouse, or an old friend, and noticed they've stopped speaking? Maybe they were once chatty, full of stories, laughter, even jokes, and now, all of a sudden, there's silence. Just the rise and fall of their breath. Maybe their eyes don't open much anymore. Maybe you're left wondering, are they still in there? Do they know I'm here? If you've experienced that, you're not alone. And if you haven't yet, it's something most of us will face sooner or later, either with someone we care for, or as we approach our own final chapter. That silence, that stillness, can feel eerie, even painful. But here's the truth, it's not something to fear. It's a natural part of the body's process of letting go. Today, I want to talk with you, heart to heart, about something most people avoid. What really happens in those final weeks, days, and hours before someone passes. And more specifically, why so many seniors stop talking before the end. It's one of the most misunderstood, yet deeply human changes we go through. There are 4 changes that often happen in the body and mind near the end of life, and while they can seem disturbing, they're actually very natural. I want to walk with you through these changes, not with fear or sadness, but with understanding and peace. Because when we know what to expect, we can face it with calm, not confusion. So let's begin with one of the most noticeable signs, the fading of verbal communication. When someone stops talking, especially a senior who used to be vocal or expressive, it can be heartbreaking. You might lean in, waiting for a word, a whisper, anything. But sometimes, nothing comes. And here's why that happens. As the body starts to shut down, the energy we usually use for talking, moving, even eating, is pulled inward. The body is conserving every ounce of strength for its most essential functions, breathing, circulation, and just staying alive. Talking, believe it or not, is one of the most energy-intensive things we do. It takes coordination between the brain, the lungs, the vocal cords, the tongue, it's a whole orchestra. But when the body begins to prepare for death, that orchestra slowly quiets down. Not because the person doesn't want to talk. Often, they just can't anymore. Some people become less alert. They might drift in and out of sleep. Others are still mentally aware, but they don't have the strength to speak. You might notice their mouth moving without sound, or just a squeeze of the hand instead of words. This is not them giving up, it's them transitioning. And in this moment, the best gift we can give isn't forcing conversation, but being present. Sitting beside them, holding their hand, maybe playing music they loved. That silent companionship can speak louder than any words. Another natural change, which often surprises people, is the shift in how the dying person relates to the world around them. You might notice they stop asking questions, stop following conversations, even seem uninterested in things they once loved. Meals go untouched. Favorite TV shows play in the background, unnoticed. Family visits come and go without much reaction. Now, this can be really tough to see, especially for loved ones who want to feel connected. You might wonder, do they still care, or have they forgotten me? But this inward turning is part of the journey. The body and spirit are slowly releasing their hold on the external world. And rather than seeing it as them pulling away from us, we can try to see it as them preparing to step into something else. Something unknown, yes, but perhaps also something peaceful. In many ways, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. There's a quiet, still period in the cocoon, where nothing seems to be happening. But inside, everything is changing. The same is true here. And just because they may not speak, or respond the way they once did, doesn't mean they're not feeling your presence. In fact, many hospice nurses will tell you, hearing is one of the last senses to go. So when you sit beside someone who's stopped talking, your voice may still be reaching them. Your words may be soothing their soul, even if they can't respond. And that brings us to something else that often happens in the final stages, a noticeable withdrawal from food and drink. This isn't just someone being picky or difficult. It's the body, again, focusing on what's most essential. As energy declines, digestion becomes more of a burden than a benefit. Forcing food or fluids at this point can actually cause discomfort. Instead, small sips of water, a moist sponge to the lips, or simply offering comfort, like cool cloths, soft blankets, or gentle music, can mean more than a full plate ever could. Sometimes, the family will feel guilty. They'll say, "I should have made them eat more," or "Did they starve to death?" But the truth is, near the end, the body naturally lets go of hunger. It's not starvation, it's surrender. And it's okay. So if you've been wondering why someone close to you stopped talking, stopped eating, even stopped looking at you the way they used to, please know, it's not your fault. And it's not theirs either. It's part of a very sacred process, as old as time itself. It may feel disturbing, especially if no one has ever talked to you about it before. But that's why we're here, having this conversation. So you're not left in the dark, wondering. So you can show up with compassion instead of confusion. Now, as we continue this journey together, let's look even deeper into the changes that unfold as the body prepares to say goodbye, not just in how we speak or eat, but in how the body itself behaves, in subtle yet powerful ways. You may have noticed, as someone nears the end of life, their breathing changes. It's not just slower, it's different. There can be long pauses, a sudden gasp, or even a rhythmic rise and fall that almost feels mechanical. This kind of breathing is known among caregivers and hospice workers as Cheyne-Stokes breathing. It can sound alarming, like the person is struggling. But I want to gently reassure you, it's not always a sign of pain. In fact, it's often a sign that the body is adjusting, preparing, releasing. The brain is no longer regulating every breath with the same precision as before. Instead, it works in bursts. Breathing might be rapid for a few moments, then there's a long pause, then it starts again. And for the people sitting beside them, for you, the family, the spouse, the best friend, those pauses can feel like forever. You hold your breath too, waiting. Watching. Wondering if that last breath was really the last. But here's what's important to know, this is part of the body's natural rhythm near the end. It's not always painful or frightening for the person going through it, even if it looks unsettling to those around them. Some people describe it as the body gradually forgetting how to be in the world. And while that can be hard to watch, there's a strange kind of grace in it too. Like waves pulling away from the shore, slower and softer each time. Sometimes, loved ones will ask, are they suffering? And while every situation is different, many people nearing the end are not in pain the way we imagine. With good care, whether at home or with hospice, pain can often be managed. And the person, even in their silence, can sense when they're surrounded by love, not fear. Another shift you might see is in their eyes, the way they move, or don't. Sometimes, the gaze becomes fixed on something far away, even when there's nothing in the room. They may look just past you, or off into a corner, as if they see something you can't. Other times, they may close their eyes completely and never open them again, even while still alive. This can be unsettling at first. You might wave your hand, say their name, try to bring them back. But this, too, is a natural change. As the body begins to release its hold on the physical world, the senses begin to fade. Vision becomes less important. Awareness turns inward, almost like they're halfway between here and somewhere else. Many people have described this moment as peaceful, even mystical. And still, even when their eyes are closed, even if they haven't spoken in days, you being there matters. Your presence, your voice, your gentle touch, they offer a kind of grounding. Think of it like this, just as a lighthouse shines for a ship nearing shore, your presence is a steady light, guiding them through the fog. Now, one of the hardest changes for many to witness, especially children or grandchildren, is when the person no longer responds emotionally. A grandmother who used to light up when the little ones walked in now just lies still. A father who always squeezed your hand tight now lets it rest without movement. This can feel like abandonment, like they've let go of you before letting go of life. But again, this isn't personal. It's not about love lost or memory gone. The emotional part of the brain, the one that reacts, smiles, shows joy or sorrow, is often one of the last to remain active. But expressing it outwardly takes effort. And by this stage, the body just doesn't have the strength. Still, inside, there may be moments of recognition. A single tear. A small twitch of the mouth. Even a change in their breathing when you speak. These tiny things matter. They tell us that, even now, even in this quiet and stillness, a connection remains. Some people near the end will have brief moments of clarity. They might open their eyes and look right at you. They might say your name or whisper something meaningful. These moments, while rare, are often remembered forever. They can feel like a final gift. A goodbye. A thank you. A reassurance. If this happens, take it gently. Hold their hand. No need for big speeches, just be with them, fully. That's enough. Other times, there's no final moment of clarity. No last words. Just a slow, steady fading. And that's okay, too. Every ending is different. Some are quiet. Some are poetic. Some are unexpected. There is no right way to die, just as there's no perfect way to say goodbye. What we can do, what really matters, is how we show up. Not with fear, not with pressure to fix anything, but with presence. You don't need to fill the silence with stories or reassurances. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is just be there. A warm hand on their arm. A quiet prayer. A familiar song humming in the background. These are the things that wrap someone in love, even when words have left the room. In many ways, death strips life down to its essence. We let go of distractions, of roles, of even our voices. What remains is connection. Not loud or showy, but quiet. Deep. Unspoken. So if you're walking through this right now, if you're caring for someone in their final days, or remembering someone who's already passed, know this, you're doing enough. Being there is enough. Understanding these changes doesn't take the pain away, but it can take away some of the fear. There's one more shift I want to talk about, the way the body itself begins to change, physically, in the final hours. It's a change that few people understand until they see it themselves, and it can be one of the most emotional parts of this journey. In those final hours, sometimes even the last minutes, there's a physical stillness that settles over the body. It's almost like nature itself is holding its breath. The skin may grow cooler to the touch. The hands and feet, especially, can become cold or even turn slightly bluish or mottled. This can be startling to see. Some people panic, thinking something is going terribly wrong. But again, this is a natural and expected part of the process. What's happening is that the body, in its wisdom, is pulling its energy inward. The heart is working less, and blood flow is no longer directed to the extremities like it once was. Instead, the body is focusing entirely on keeping the most essential systems going, even if just for a little longer. It's not painful. It's not dangerous. It's simply the body slowly letting go. There may also be a slight loosening of the muscles, which can lead to the release of urine or other fluids. While it might seem undignified to those witnessing it, it's completely normal. The body, once full of tension and movement, is finally relaxing. It's giving itself permission to stop. You might also notice a softening of the face. The tension we carry every day, whether from pain, stress, or effort, fades away. Sometimes the expression even resembles a smile. Many caregivers describe it as a moment of peace, almost like the person is finally resting, deeply and completely, for the first time in a long while. There's a tenderness in these last physical signs. They remind us of how fragile and beautiful life really is. And they give us a chance, not just to say goodbye, but to witness something sacred. We often think of birth as sacred, a miracle. But there's something equally miraculous about death, when we really allow ourselves to see it. And still, through all of this, the person may remain completely silent. No more stories. No more answers to our questions. Maybe no recognition in their eyes. But silence doesn't mean absence. They are still there, feeling you, sensing your warmth, perhaps aware of your love, even if they can no longer respond in ways we recognize. This is why it's so important, especially in those final moments, not to measure love or connection by words alone. A silent goodbye can be just as powerful, just as full of love, as one filled with speech. In fact, sometimes the most meaningful goodbyes happen without a single word being spoken. If you find yourself by someone's side as they pass, you may notice their breathing slow even more. Then a pause. A long one. Then, maybe, nothing. That moment is one of the hardest, even if you knew it was coming. Even if the person was sick for a long time. Nothing quite prepares you for it. You may feel shock, sadness, relief, guilt, numbness, or all of these at once. Please know, whatever you feel in that moment is okay. There is no right way to grieve. No correct emotion. There's just your heart, doing its best to make sense of something bigger than words. For those watching from the outside, death may seem like an ending. And in many ways, it is. But for the person leaving, it may feel like a release, a return. Something natural, even gentle. That's why so many people who've worked in hospice or end-of-life care speak not with fear, but with reverence. They've seen it. They know that when the time comes, the body knows what to do. And the spirit, whatever you believe, finds its way. So if you've been sitting with the memory of someone who stopped talking before they passed, and you've been carrying the weight of that silence, I hope you know this: it wasn't a rejection. It wasn't a withdrawal of love. It was a transition. A crossing over from one state of being to another. And in those final moments, your presence mattered more than you'll ever know. And if you're watching this because you're preparing to walk that road with someone soon, I hope you'll walk it gently. With patience. With grace. With the understanding that silence isn't emptiness, it's a different kind of communication. One that speaks not in words, but in connection. In presence. In love. We don't talk about death enough in our culture. We push it away, avoid it, speak about it only in hushed tones. But death is not the enemy. It's part of the same cycle as birth, growth, and love. And when we face it with open hearts and clear eyes, we take away its power to terrify us. We make space for peace. For dignity. For healing. So take a deep breath with me now. Right here. Right where you are. Let yourself feel whatever comes. And remember, if someone you loved passed in silence, it doesn't mean they left you alone. That silence was filled with the energy of all the moments you shared before, the laughs, the memories, the kindness. Those don't disappear. They live on in you. You are not alone in this. So many of us are walking this path, quietly holding on to love, even after someone's gone. And if this video brought you even a little bit of comfort, I hope you'll share it with someone who might need it too. Sometimes, just hearing that what you're feeling is normal is enough to bring peace. If you feel moved, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me about someone you're remembering. Share a moment, a word, or even a silence that meant something to you. Let's create a space here where we can honor these endings with love. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like. It helps more people find this kind of message. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more gentle, honest conversations about aging, caregiving, and living with heart. Here's to you. To your strength, your compassion, and your courage to face life's hardest moments with love. No matter your age, you have the power to bring peace, not just to others, but to yourself. You are never too old to understand more. To grow. To love. And to find comfort in the truth. Here's to living fully and letting go, when the time comes, with grace.